sometimes when games are announced, everybody loses their shit. No matter how hard they look, they can't find it. And I mean, it's positive sanitarily, but, you know, it's gotta make us question our defenses a little, you know? Sometimes when games are shown off, it stirs up quite a reaction. So much so that it can overflow and drown out the game when it's actually released. Whether the trailer sets expectations way too high, or people just get misinformed or think it's a game that it's not meant to be. Games can get killed by the hype. Sometimes it's the marketer's fault, sometimes it's the consumer's fault, but, you know, it's never my fault. Unfortunately, this can lead to some games being swept under the rug and not getting the appreciation it deserves. Not to say that the games on this list are gonna be good,
because the good majority of them aren't.
but one way or another, these games weren't enjoyed as much as they could have been, if it weren't for the hype. Now, I hadn't really played any Fable games until the third one came around, but for whatever reason, when it did come around, I decided to pick it up. And by pick up, I mean rent repeatedly until I was done with it. Of course, now that Xbox has given the game out for free, I can keep it, so that's nice. Fable 3 generally got a lot of flack when it first released, but I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Why is that, you say? Well, from what I can understand, it's because I hadn't played the other ones. The general consensus seems to be they just get worse and worse throughout the series, even if none of them are technically bad. Which means the best possible way to enjoy the games is to play them in a backwards order, so they just keep getting better and better. Of course, I didn't know any of that going into Fable 3. In fact, I didn't know anything at all. But yeah, I wasn't really in the know about Peter Molyneux's empty promises on the previous games, like being able to plant an acorn and it grow a tree in, like, real time. And being able to have kids, at least in the early games. Because, you know, they're the most vital to an adventure game. So number 5 is the Fable series, in general. Play me off, future me. Recently, Xbox Live had a sale in the US of A, with one of those deals slashing the price for Bulletstorm. I saw people start to post on forums about how Bulletstorm is really good, especially compared to their expectations. Originally, the game had some really cool online marketing. It had a trailer making fun of Halo 3's famous Believe campaign, and even made an entire fake game making fun of Call of Duty, which I implore you to download as it is free and I love it.
I am an enemy.
Boring.
Ow.
Boring. Rank up! Master Sergeant Shooter Person!
As Bulletstorm was being developed by Epic Games, the game was inevitably injected with a lot of testosterone. Except this time it was satirical and purposely over the top. I feel like a lot of the hype was warranted, but it still got people's, and my, expectations higher than what they should have been. It's one of those rare cases where the marketers do their job too well. The weapons, not to mention the whip, were definitely cool new innovations for a game, let alone a first-person shooter. Unfortunately, when the full game came out, people were let down. Now, I have to admit, the game wasn't as explosively fantastic as the ads suggested, but it was still fun. Another reason people disliked the game was because of the insane amount of dick jokes.
Hey! Identify yourself or I will open fire!
Oh, listen, lady, please! We've been stuck here forever! Help us get an evac off-world!
Yeah? Go fuck yourself! You shitpiles give chase, I will kill your dicks!
What? What does that even mean? You're gonna kill my dick?
But to me, it's just so stupid, it's funny. Which is what I'm pretty sure they were going for. Although that humor doesn't blend with everyone, so whatever. I think the worst part, though, the main reason people boycotted this so much was it's short. Now, while I understand that when you get a game, especially on release day, you want it to last until the next big release, but I don't think it's entirely fair to degrade a game so far to saying it sucks just by its length. Sure, when you beat it, which could take a day, you probably won't play it again due to no replayability value, and the multiplayer sucks more than a goose on a chimney, but the core gameplay is still really fun, and that's what I think it really comes down to. And even though the game itself doesn't offer too much after you're done with it, at least you can go back for some achievements. No, seriously. Like, that's the best part of achievements. It means you can do more in a game you'd otherwise be done with. No, look, just hear me out. What? Hey, no, wait, just listen! Oh, Dead Island. You are quite a story, aren't you? You know, this game was said to make people lose their hair. I'm just kidding. That'd be stupid. You see, it all started with the announcement of this game was presented with a CG trailer, which is a problem. Not that it was bad or anything, in fact it was pretty fantastic. Dark, depressing, and just really emotional overall. But again, there's one big problem. There are a huge amount of gamers out there who like to judge things very, very quickly. In fact, when Indie Game the Movie was premiered, HBO ended up buying the rights to turn it into a 30-minute show. But when the news first broke, it also incorrectly stated that the show would be a sitcom. So for the next 2 hours, the internet decided to go haywire and get very angry very quickly. They started saying it was going to be the worst thing ever, and it would make gamers and developers look bad, and started making comparisons to the Big Bang Theory, and everybody lost their goddamn minds! And this is within 2 hours, because after that, the news was confirmed that that wasn't going to be a sitcom, and everyone looked at themselves and felt just a tad stupid. As unrelated as that little story seems, I think it's a pretty good example of how ridiculous the internet can be sometimes. But I think with the case of the Dead Island, it specifically shines. As I said, the CG trailer was emotional and really made you think a little more about the realities of a zombie apocalypse. I mean, now that The Last of Us is out, it seems pretty elementary, but you gotta look at it from a person from the olden days of 2011. The most popular zombie game at the time was probably Left 4 Dead 2, or maybe COD Zombies. Neither were trying to exactly give you an emotional impact, so when this was shown, people decided they'd start getting very hyped for the game. They rang the town bell, they alerted the neighbors, they yelled it from the rooftops, because of a CG trailer. Okay, am I the only one who sees this as a problem? Because it seems to still be happening. I mean, recently, there was a trailer at E3 for The Order 1886, and people have been saying how they're just losing their minds over it, but how? I mean, the only thing that would definitely have to be in the actual game that was shown in this trailer is the setting, and maybe a gun or two. I mean, look, I'm not saying this game is going to be good or bad, because it's a CG trailer! I mean, if the Call of Duty Ghosts trailer, and I know it's not CG, but it still supports my point. Now, if this trailer didn't even reveal it was going to be a Call of Duty game, I just know some people would be like, ooh, that looks interesting and thoughtful and deep. I might just pre-order it right now. That's a good idea. Everyone, say aye. Say aye. Then find out it's COD. Like, you just don't do it. Wait it out. Put it out of your head until the gameplay is shown off so you can confirm or deny your original impressions. CG trailers can be the most disconnected type of marketing when relating to video games. As you can tell, they just hire some advertising company to get the most people to buy the game, and those companies will do anything for that to happen. Even if that means making the game look like something it's not, okay? Are we clear? Is that good? Will this end now? I don't want this to happen. One more time. I'm turning the car around, I swear to God. So, like, Dead Island. People thought it was going to be deep and emotional, but it was just some silly fun with some glitches. I'm going to go lie down. So I'm pretty sure there was one game that everyone was excited for in 2011. Bethesda was going to grace the earth with another masterpiece. It's pretty obvious I'm talking about Brink. I'm gonna go lie down. At one point, Brink might have seemed like a dream come true to some people. I mean, it was a fast-paced, online, objective-based shooter with multiple classes, not to forget a sprinkle of Mirror's Edge and a story that blends with the multiplayer. The developer diaries really got the point across that it was going to be something with passion, originality, and innovation. There were ideas like nobody being the clear bad guy, that both sides had reason to fight, and being able to swap objectives anytime to help towards the main goal. It was also the first online FPS to have a parkour system, as far as I know, with Battlefield and Call of Duty only implementing it after this. It also has a cool cel-shaded art style, plenty of customization, and outstanding level design. And as if all that weren't bad enough, this was being made by Bethesda. Well, actually they were just publishing it, but they were on the front of the box, so I think you can imagine why the stakes got so high. Of course, all the people who didn't really look into the game, I'm sure just saw a second of gameplay and went, oh, another game trying to cash in on the COD demographic, which is an understandable point of view. But when release day came around, there was disappointment. Firstly, the campaign and the multiplayer mixing just ended up making the game feel lazy, as the maps were used for both modes, whether they actually were being lazy or not. Secondly, there was a slight learning curve, which I can believe stretched people's patience. Secondly, there was a slight... Will you shut your mouth? Secondly, there was a slight learning curve, which I can believe stretched people's patience, especially as FPSs often seem to hook you in quickly nowadays. But the main problem is why that learning curve exists in the first place. The game is not solid. Not in the slightest. Which is really unfortunate, as for a lot of people this was the breaking point. Moving around never really felt satisfying, which especially sucks because the parkour was something you'd want to try out. This deterred so many people, and I can see why, but back then I had an unsettling amount of patience with games, so I kept playing. And I think for those people who did keep playing, found a thick layer of fun. They got good, they discovered strategies, they leveled up, and who knows, maybe they actually used some teamwork. I think what was promised was there, but because everybody was expecting to be blown away, understandably, we didn't give it as much leeway as we might have otherwise. It really sucks that the developers' ideas and effort went to waste. If only they could have ended genres? What? How are they planning on doing that?
It's a cool time because we're starting to see these walls crumble between the genres. Brink, it's a shooter, there's action elements, and it's a kind of interactive story, all at the same time.
This game is a bit different from the other ones on this list. The people who got hyped for it didn't just ruin it for themselves. They shot it dead for anybody and everybody. You see, the fans of the series kept pushing the developer to release the game on the series' 15th anniversary. And the company gave in and tried to release it on that year just to please the fans. But at what cost? Now, I don't at all believe in making things quick and sacrificing quality to do so. And this might just be the worst example of it. What could have been a fantastic game was just destroyed by loading screens, awful lazy animations, and literally ignoring the beta tester feedback. Without further ado, number one is...
It's no use!
Yep, it's the monstrous disappointment we've come to know as me trying to use a green screen. Sonic 06. What could have been a fantastic game ended up one of the worst games of all time because Sonic Team had so much pressure on them from the hardcore Sonic fans to release it on Sonic's 15th anniversary. I mean, really? Other than the stuff I said earlier, what can I say? I honestly want to say something worthwhile, but you've heard it all before. I mean, again, the loading screens, the glitches, the lazy animations, the bad story, the over-the-top voice acting, the Sonic and the human making out. Like, no thank you, I'm just gonna hide over here. I don't think you need me to tell you how much this game sucks. It just does. Yay.
Darn! We're not gonna make it! Let's speed up! Ooh.
Well then. Looks like I just got stoned. Hello there. Sorry about that ending. It was a little bit strange. You can click and see my other videos if you're considering subscribing, or you could just subscribe now. I mean, I probably won't let you down. Quit it! Making a video! That was the worst timing. God, it makes it sound like I'm gonna disappoint people. That's not the image I want to create, man. God, sorry about that, everyone. Some people just don't get it, you know? But I think with the case of the Dead Island, it specifically shines. Oh my... Don't want the camera to fall over, do I? Oh God, it's gonna fall over. It's gotta fall over. How could it not fall over? I knew it! I got you, buddy. We're gonna make it through this.